So a while back, I shared a video about how to create your own stock brand photography. And today I want to show you how to do your own brand photo shoot so you can take photos of yourself and have beautiful images that you can use. Now, with COVID going on and it being harder to meet up with people, go to great locations and do photo shoots, and also the fact that, doing a photo shoot can cost a lot of money. And you might not be at a stage where you're able to do that just yet. Obviously, it's something that you might want to do in the future as your business grows, but if you're not ready yet, but you still want beautiful pictures so that you can show your face and show that you're part of your brand and make sure that your imagery looks on brand too, then I'm going to show you how I do that and some of my little tricks for doing that. As I mentioned in the last video, showing your face really helps build trust in your brand. So let's have a look at how you can DIY a brand photo shoot, get yourself in front of the camera, make it look good and make it look on brand without it needing to cost you lots of money or having a huge crazy setup, but keeping it simple and creating something that's really beautiful and looks great. Let's go! So the first thing that you're going to want is a source of light. So if you don't have lots of lighting equipment or you don't want to fork out and get all these crazy lights, the best thing is to find natural light. So this could mean taking photos outdoors where you've got sunlight but in the shade so you don't have direct sun hitting you, or being right near a window. Now, when you think about it, you've got to think how you want that light hitting you to in the image. So do you want it to be facing directly on you? That could be quite bright. Or coming from the side, you might notice that there's shadow on one side, light on the other. So you've got to think what your image wants to look like and making sure that the light's in a way where the light looks good on the face. So you want to find a nice window where there's lots of nice light coming through, then move around and notice how the light looks on you and think about the look that you want in your photo and what's going to look best. Now, the next thing we want to think about is your background. So something that I like to use is a sheet or something that I can hang up behind me. But you could just use your wall if you're happy with the color of the wall you've got, or you can look for something like a nice bookshelf or something else that you think is a good background. It could be your desk. So think about what you've already got, and if you don't like what you've got, don't feel like you have to go find this beautiful perfect setup to make it look beautiful on brand. Think about the colors and the look that suits your brand, and then think, if I don't actually have that at home or where I can actually go to take photos, what can I use that's inexpensive that can create the look that I want? And often just something as simple as some fabric, putting that up can make a big difference. So once you've found a spot with some good lighting and thought about the background, now we want to do a bit of research about the kind of look that we want for your photos. So going onto Pinterest, the first thing we want to think about is the look and the story and the feel behind it. So is there certain stories you want to tell about your brand? Do you want to tell the story of how you make things, or the story about how you do your work or your workspace, or some other element of your brand? Think about that. Start looking for imagery that tells those stories but also has the feel and the vibe of your brand. So things that are really communicating that feel. You don't necessarily have to find other photos of people posing and images that are exactly what you're trying to create, but images that create that feel. It's going to start inspiring you for the kind of things that you could do to create that feeling. So it can even be images of light, it can be images of texture and backdrops, things like that, anything that's going to get you inspired. So create those mood boards and start thinking about, what's this look that I'm trying to create? Now what you're going to do is start thinking about, what resources do I have to create a kind of look like that? Alright, so let's do a simple setup. So what I like to do is get my tripod, my camera, and when I'm DIYing it, sometimes what you can do is just set a timer and time your photos and do it that way. But another way that I've recently tried doing, which actually makes it so much faster and easy when you're doing it on your own, is recording in video. Because when you record in video, then you can just go through, find the perfect shots, and then just screenshot those ones and go with that. Whereas when you're trying to keep going back and forth with the remote, you're trying to get the perfect shot, it can take a long time. So doing video is actually easier. And if you've got a camera where it shows you the screen, you can keep looking and see, does this pose look good? And you can test it out and try lots of different things. So you can look in the screen, see how it looks, and then look back at the lens, because make sure you're looking in the lens if you're looking at the camera, and then look in the lens and hold that pose. So if you don't have a good camera, it's fine to just use your phone. You can take really good shots with your phone. It's all about getting good lighting and then just a little bit of editing afterwards. Some things to think about with these photos is what you're wearing. So what kind of clothing is going to look really great and going to work with your brand? What kind of brand colors do you have? And what kind of feel do you want? Like, do you want it to feel really light and airy? Do you want it to feel really edgy and bold? Think about the feeling you want and the kind of clothes that are going to communicate that as well. And accessories too. Accessories can really amp things up and make it even more fun. So things like hats or glasses, cool shoes, belts, jewelry, all those kind of things. What else can you add to make it all the more exciting? Obviously, it doesn't have to be crazy and exciting. You can also just keep it really simple and basic, and that can just feel really minimal and beautiful and delicate too. So it's all about the feeling you want to create. And then you can also bring in other props. So you can bring in things like a laptop, paint brushes, whatever you'll use in your business, things that are going to communicate a bit about the process, a bit about what you do, other props that you can start bringing in as well. Now, once you're happy with what you've got, we can go to editing mode. So what we're going to do is import that video onto your computer or onto your phone even. I'd only do phone if you're only intending to use these images on social media and online. If you're wanting to be able to ever do this for print, you really need to take it to the computer so that you have higher res. But if you're just going to be using it on Instagram, then doing it on your phone is just fine. If you've done a video, what you want to do is go through it and just start screenshotting the best shots. Then once you've got the screenshots, then we go into Lightroom and you start just fiddling around and editing to make it the feel you want. Don't over edit too. If you're really unsure about editing, you can find some presets. There's so many people that sell presets. If they've got a particular preset that just has the perfect feel that's going to make it feel on brand for you, you can use their preset, or just edit with very simple edits, just adding a bit more light or a bit more contrast or less contrast, whatever you feel the photo needs, just to give it a little bit of an extra touch just to make it look more professional and beautiful. And then you export them and they're ready to go and you have some DIY brand photos. So I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you want to learn more about branding, graphic design and creativity, then be sure to subscribe to this channel and I'll see you next time.